Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. So here we are, Monday morning again. I think we're what,
Monday
week number?
morning again. It is week. I don't even count anymore.
I think it's week 17, but I'm not counting either.
I'm
So
not
anyway,
counting anymore.
we're still keeping on keeping going on.
We still keep on keeping on and so there's good news. Like I mean things are looking up.
Hmm.
Numbers are down in Ontario, in Canada, in Cornwall. We've seen very little coronavirus activity, and so that's really good news. I think we've done a really good job at flattening the curve, and this is what it's all about, right? So, and now
Yes.
it's just a matter of continuing on the path that we are.
Yep.
And yeah. So I went to the hospital this morning. I finally had my long awaited ultrasound.
Yeah,
And I
that you
got to
were
say,
supposed to have. Yeah, you were supposed to have this before the coronavirus, but better
yeah,
late than never. So.
I was scheduled after my surgery. I was scheduled for
Hmm.
a follow up ultrasound because I've got like pain in that area. But so it got canceled, right? Everything got
Hmm.
canceled. So
Yep.
and then it was really bad because when they started booking again, they had like 8,000 ultrasounds to book. It was like something insane.
Of course.
But they're finally getting to everybody, and it's really safe. I had no fear whatsoever. Everything is really really safe. There's social distancing, and there's a
Mhm.
really good protocol in place. Everybody's wearing masks. And good morning, Mark. Hope you're doing
Oh,
okay and
there
you
it
keep
is.
on keeping on. So yeah, and then there was only two people in the waiting room, so it was me and another
Good.
lady, and then just you're waiting very little. And I've heard they're doing ultrasounds until like 10, 11 at night because they have
Yeah.
to spread them, right? So it's really really yeah. Anyways, really safe. So no problem. Nothing to say about our hospital. It's all good.
Yeah, I like to say my dad's been in a couple of times too, and my sister was very impressed how efficient and safe
Yeah.
everything is, and how they're cleaning, and yeah,
Oh
I
yeah.
think I
There's
think
like
we're good.
you got to wash your hands as soon as you go in, and then you go and you get screened, and they ask you a bunch of questions. You have this, you have that. You've been in contact, you've been tested, and let's talk about that, my lease.
Yeah, I guess you got tested, didn't you? And I never did ask you how that went.
Oh my goodness. So turns out so last week I had a little visit in the ER because the pain was really bad. So I went in and just wanted to have it checked out just to be sure that everything was okay.
Hmm.
Um, and apparently I had a little fever when I went in. Like I didn't know, but
Oh.
they took my temperature, and apparently I had a touch of a fever, very, very slightly, but I had
Hmm.
a touch of the fever. So because of that, they automatically tested me for coronavirus.
Okay, and how did they do it?
Oh my God. So they did two. They did both the nasal swab and the throat swab.
Oh, okay.
They did both. And oh shoot, like it's not painful. But
Okay.
man, I thought they were tickling my brains. It was it was like oh my
It's
god. And
kind of
it's just like 2 seconds. Like it doesn't take very long. It's just like but they stick, and I hear that ours is not even the real like one that goes really deep. I heard that ours is not, so deep. But anyways,
but
nonetheless, it was quite the
I
experience.
mean, if ours doesn't go so deep, does it still get the same results though? I would think, eh?
Yeah, I think so. I'm maybe that's why they do both. I'm not sure. But
Hmm.
anyways, they did the nasal swab. They went all the way up, and oh shit, like it
Just
was
the
quite
swabs
something.
and
Yeah, it was quite something. Um, but yeah, it is what it is. It's the throat swab was not a problem. It's
yeah.
like just she said, try to not gag, and puke on me? And I'm like, no, I'll be fine.
Yeah,
But
well, that would be just like they do for strep throat or something, I
right,
would think. Or
right.
is it more, is it longer or is it about the same? It's been
No,
so
they're just
long
like,
since I've had one, so I can't remember
yeah, they
how
just go in there
long.
and they swab and that's it. It's a matter of few seconds too. It's not very long.
Okay, good. But
But anyway,
but
it
you're
was quite
all
the
good.
experience.
Everything came
Everything was okay. It's super awesome too because you just go online and
okay.
you enter your health card number, your date of birth, your name, and then your results are all online. So, and it took very little time. Like within 24 hours, I had my results. So
Wow,
it was, yeah. I was impressed. It's pretty efficient. Like when you think that down in Texas right now, I have another cousin who I think, well, we don't know yet, but it looks like he's caught coronavirus, and they told him 5 to 7 days before he gets his results.
oh my God.
They're super backed up. Wow,
Yeah,
they get thousands and thousands of cases daily, so
yeah,
obviously they're backed up.
yeah.
So
Well, hopefully whoever gets tested self-isolates and doesn't go out and about
I hope
in
so.
that time.
I was
Gee.
wondering if they're telling them to stay home and not go anywhere until they get their test results. I don't know. I haven't asked the cousin. The cousin is very sick right now, so not in the mood
Well,
to talk to anybody.
and I'm probably not in the mood to go anywhere anyway, so that's
Yeah,
I doubt
yeah,
if they'll be going anyway. Yeah, more or less, if they've had a test, you think people would stay home.
yeah. So a lot of tests are given false positives. We have a comment from Delbert.
Yeah,
I hear that there's quite a bit of false negatives too. So um, I don't know. Like it's yes. Jackie Milner says it would be nice to have an antibody
definitely.
testing. Yes, absolutely, I agree. That would be such a good indication if we were to get to a point where we have um, the antibody testing and they're routinely testing people. Like if you go
Hmm.
for blood work, and they would routinely test people for it to see if you have the antibodies.
Yeah,
That'd be really, really interesting to see how much of the population actually got it. Because we hear all the
yeah,
time, you know, we hear all the time that people are saying, "Oh, I'm sure I had it," like a few months
yeah.
back, and I'm I'm
Well,
I'm
well, like I
almost
told
positive my
you,
son had
well,
it.
like which one? Mateo.
Ezekiel, when he
Oh,
had his pneumonia back in
yes.
February,
Yeah.
um,
A bit of,
this fever that wouldn't break for like a whole
mhm.
freaking week and a half.
Yeah,
I'm suspecting that that might have been what he had, but again, if we don't have any antibody tests, we're not gonna necessarily know. Anyways,
yeah. Well, that's what my daughter. That's what she's anxious too because she's pretty sure she had it back in March. She
and
says
they
she's
were
not.
not testing back then
Well, they weren't
in
testing
Alberta.
anything. Like it
Yeah,
was taking 4 days to get through to the health unit, and her own doctor told her to stay self-isolating. But she's pretty sure she had it. She's never felt that ill before, but she got over it luckily. So yeah, once they come through with the antibody testing, I think it'll be a lot better.
absolutely. And yes, vitamin C, vitamin D
Mhm.
is extremely important. Like I'm trying to soak up the sunshine every
I see
day as
that.
much as I can,
Yeah,
um, because we know that that helps fighting all infections, not only coronavirus but all infections. So keep
yeah.
uh, your skin to the sun, people. So what are
Yeah,
we here
but
to talk about?
not too much skin to the sun that you get yourself burnt.
Oh, no. So, oh, you got your mum mug. I have my
Mhm.
best day ever because I got to keep reminding myself to be positive every day.
Well, I got my mom mug. This was actually from my oldest son who's in Calgary, and now my daughter. After 5 days of driving, I posted last night. Mom could actually get a good night's sleep last night because she made it home. She left Canada Day and she made it home last night to her own home in Calgary. Thank goodness,
Good.
5 days on the road. Wow,
Yeah,
what a
that's
journey
a
that
long
was!
drive.
What a
Yeah.
journey that was for me as well.
Yeah, I bet you were a nervous wreck the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're here this morning, and we are going to talk about masks, and we're going to keep an objective view.
Yeah.
People know where I stand. I think they know where you stand as well. But we're going to listen to all sides and not um, judge or preconceived ideas or anything. So if you want to come on and let us know what you think about this new order that
Mandatory
we're not sure
mask.
100% that it's going to be coming, but we were told last week that it was coming this week.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so the health unit is going to, along with all the other health units in the area, is going to be making an order to make masks mandatory indoors, so in
Mm-hmm.
stores. And I'm not sure, like, I have a lot of questions too that are like not answered yet, and hopefully they will answer it at the press briefing today, because
Yeah.
they're doing press briefings twice a
Twice
week
a
now?
week.
Twice a week
Yeah.
now.
Twice a week.
So hopefully some of those questions, but I was wondering, like, places like Ollie Mail and Walmart, logistics there,
Yeah.
and Leclerc, like all these factories, I'm wondering if they have to wear masks.
I would kind of think so because they're in pretty close contact to each other. You would think
Yeah. They're
that they.
big facilities though, so there's a lot of space
Mm-hmm.
and room in between people, so I'm not sure, like, but that's a question that I would have. Louise says that she has heard yesterday that they will not mandate mask.
Really?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that, Louise, but we'll know today. Like, the order is supposed to come in today if it comes. But I know that there was a lot of outrage on Facebook. There was petitions going around
Mm-hmm.
from people who uh, don't want to be forced to wear a mask in the stores and all. So I know personally, I feel that it's a social responsibility
Mm-hmm.
to wear a mask, because uh, we know now that this thing is it does transmit by asymptomatic or pre-symptomatic, even more by
Yeah.
pre-symptomatic people
Yep.
that don't know that they're sick yet. Therefore,
Yep.
you go out, you think you're doing just fine, but you're out there and you're talking. And we know that it's being transmitted by just simply talking.
Mm-hmm.
And um, so you can be talking to me, and I'll be spreading my droplets without
Yep.
knowing. Um, and and then you get infected because I was pre-symptomatic, and that's it. So I think that right now, without having a vaccine for this thing, um, our best line of defense is what we can do. And that's one little thing that we can do to make sure
Yeah.
that we don't spread it. So that's
Well,
where
if
I stand.
everybody, I mean, if everybody is wearing one, even if it's just to go indoors, it'll help a lot. Because I know if I wear a mask and you don't, I'm protecting you from my droplets, but your droplets is still going out there, right? Myself, I wear a mask all the time when I go into a store. So, oh,
Yes. I'm in
and
Kingston, and we are mandated to wear a
yeah.
mask. Everyone everywhere is wearing them. That includes Walmart and every store.
I am noticing though, because I did go out yesterday to the dollar store, and I am noticing that more people have started to wear a mask because most people in the dollar store had them on yesterday, even though it's not mandated yet.
Yes.
But I'm pretty sure Dr. Paul said at some point this week it was going to be a for sure.
He did, but they might cave under pressure. Like, that's the
Okay,
concern, right?
so
Like, if there's enough people that are complaining about it, they might
yeah,
turn around and say, well, okay, let's not do it, because we don't have a lot of cases here. And
Exactly.
I see the point. A lot of people think it's an overkill because we don't have a lot of cases here. But at the same time, a lot of people thought it was an overkill. Everything we did before
Mhm.
this
Yeah,
that did quash the the spread, and that
yeah,
did um,
did help
yeah,
because I
it's
mean
it's it's flattened the
we're
curve.
yeah, we're looking pretty good with everything we've done and the slow opening and the slow and careful openings, whereas it scares me to see what's going on in the States because they just went and opened everything up, and now I believe they're backing up and starting to close things again. And that's not what we want
Where? Where did
in
you
the
say that?
States. Well,
Yes,
in the
well,
States,
that's what happened. Like in
everything
Texas,
got opened.
they had to
Start,
back up everything
yep,
and start closing everything again, which is, you know, it's worse for the economy if
it
you have to
is.
do that.
It is. It is.
Okay, so this Facebook user is saying, why do we have to wear masks now? It wasn't mandatory for the last 3 months. It should have been mandatory 3 months ago. I agree that it should have been mandatory 3 months ago. But that's what I keep telling people. This is a new virus. People keep
Yeah.
asking why now, why not before? Um,
It's
and
a learning curve where all everybody's learning about it as we go. Things keep
the
changing.
the health unit of Ottawa had a good post this week, well, Friday, about why now
Hmm.
and not before. And that's exactly what they're saying. This is a new virus. There's new
Yeah.
information coming out all the time. Back then, 3 months ago, they didn't think that it mattered. There's two factors. One, they didn't want people to go and snatch all the masks that should have been used by the health professionals, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And they were not mentioning cloth at that point. And then the cloth mask started to come out, like the cloth
Hmm.
mask trend started to come out. And then more studies were done on those masks, and they found out that it is effective. Like it's not 100% effective, but if you're wearing one and I'm wearing one,
Yeah,
we're all, protecting one another, and it
yeah,
is effective. It might not be like, again, 100%, 95%, 90%, but even if it is only 85% effective, it's still less infections going around, you know?
exactly.
So at
Exactly.
this point, they're mandating this now. So in the fall, we don't have a second wave that is going to be that we're not going to be able to handle.
Yeah, and it's going to be inevitable because that's when, all the viruses really come out full force. So it's pretty scary that we probably will have a second wave.
Yeah.
So now we have to take action.
Mhm. I'm trying to find some pictures that our health unit had shared. Oh, here they are. So I'm going to share my screen. Just a moment. I gotta find it first. One is here, and then the other one is here. We have a lot of comments, but they're very long. So if I put them on the screen, they're gonna take the whole like
Oh,
that.
yeah. That's
So,
okay. The comment
but
is important.
people, if you are interested, you can go on the threads and actually look at those links, and you can evaluate both sides of the stories. A lot of people are posting links to evidence on both sides, and that's what gets confusing because there's good evidence on both sides of the
There
thing.
is.
But
There
anyways,
is.
Dr. Paul, last week, when he announced this, uh, posted these images. And why am I not able to? Oh, here we are. So you see this? Yes, right?
I don't
Oh,
see anything yet. It's very small in the middle of the screen.
okay. So here we
There we
are.
go. Yes, I did
Okay,
read that.
so this
Very good.
this person has done an experiment where he used petri dishes, and
Yeah.
he did it with a mask and without a mask, and he did different activities. So he sneezed, he sang, he talked, and he coughed. And so
Mm-hmm.
you see right here, so these are the petri dishes
With the
after
mask.
he sneezed, after he sang, after he talked, and after the coughs with the mask.
Yep.
And these are the petri dishes with no mask. So that's
I mean,
that's
it's
one thing.
obvious. It's
And this
obvious that the mask does help.
so yes, and this is just
Regular
a
surgical mask.
regular surgical mask. Yes. So it's not an N95 or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the first experiment. And then this was the second one. Hold on. This was about distance
Mm-hmm.
and mask and no mask. So this is the droplets, okay, um, at 2 meters, four
Mm-hmm.
meters, and no, feet, sorry. 2 feet,
Yeah.
4 feet, 6 feet. And then again with a mask and with no mask.
Mm-hmm.
So after coughing for 15 seconds. So you can see that masks do stop a lot of the bacteria and a lot of the virus. So why not? So
Well, I know for the last week or so, we've been going up to Ottawa quite a bit because my dad was in the hospital there. And luckily, my mom was able to visit with him.
mhm.
But right at the door, I mean, you cannot go even past that front door. You have that you given a mask. You have to wear a mask. And they are, most of them are just the surgical masks. But again, it's completely mandatory. You cannot go into that place without one on.
Well, it's the same at our hospital. You just can't go in
Oh, so
without a
you have
mask.
to, do they give you one right at the door here too?
Um, I haven't paid attention because everybody had one.
Oh, so
Like I haven't seen anybody go in without a mask, so I can't tell you if they're. I'm assuming they would. Like
yeah,
I'm sure they do. Yeah. So Christian says I can't throw any pictures on the post, but N95 masks say misuse may result in sickness or death. This is also the same for anything that restrict airflow. So interesting
now
thing that I learned about N95 masks just
you're going
last
to
week.
tell them about the fact that they have to be fitted properly, right? We just found that out.
Yep. So last week I wrote an editorial about why I choose to wear an N95 mask. And I
Mm-hmm.
know like people are going to judge me because yes, it's taking a mask away from health people, like healthcare people in a healthcare setting that should have them. And
Yeah.
I agree 100%. I agree 100% that they should be reserved for the healthcare people. However, if people are not going to protect me, I'm going to protect myself.
Yeah, I was just going to
And
say that.
yeah, and I can't count on everybody to wear a mask and protect me. And every day I was telling this to, I can't remember who I was talking to, but I live on a busy street, and every time I open this door, somebody comes into my bubble. Like it's insane. People are just not adhering to social distancing measures. And like I had this one guy. I go out, I'm wearing my mask. I'm outside
Mm-hmm.
here, I'm wearing my mask, and I clearly, I clearly don't want people around me because I got my mask and I'm like, doing what I should do. And
Yeah.
this guy walks by and then he turns around and comes back to me. And he goes, "Hey, are you selling that basketball net in your backyard?" And I'm like, "Do you see a for sale sign on it?" "No, I'm not selling my basketball net." But he's right there on my face, like a foot
Oh my
away.
God.
Like,
No
some
mask on,
some no,
obviously.
oh no, hell no. So a lot of people don't care. They don't believe in it. And so and they don't respect those who do believe in it. Like,
Mhm.
if you want to think this is a conspiracy theory, go all I'm all for it. That's your job, that's your
Yeah.
prerogative. You have the right to, that's okay. I don't. I believe it's real. And if you respect that I believe it's real, then I'll respect that you believe it's not real, but don't come in my bubble. That's my bubble.
Yeah.
It's my six
Yeah.
foot. Don't be my 6 foot.
Like I keep
Anyway,
saying, you do you and I do me. But I mean, everybody is gonna think what they want to think no matter what. So yes,
yeah,
if you
and
can,
unfortunately, the you do you, I do me. Well, that means that I have to wear an N95 mask because nobody else is
exactly.
wearing a mask.
Yep.
So,
That's what I was gonna say. You have to
so,
protect yourself.
but that being said, after that editorial, somebody who works in ICU um, sent me a message and explained to me that um, healthcare people are actually fitted for N95 masks.
Hmm.
So when you work in those settings, you have to go through a test every year, and it's called a sweet test or a bitter test. Like, there's two tests: there's the sweet test and the
Hmm.
bitter test. And what they do is they fit the N95 mask to your mouth,
Yep.
and then they put this big old thing on your head. And like, it's kind of sealed and everything, and
Yeah.
then there's a little hole, and they spray this solution that is sweet, and if
Okay.
you end up being able to taste it with your tongue, then the
Hmm.
mask is not sealed properly, to
Okay.
it's not fitted properly, so you got to try a different size. And I've been told that those numbers on the front of the masks are actually the size. This one
Okay.
here, I think.
All right.
um so those are the sizes, and then once you know your size and you're fit, you're okay for a whole year. But then if you
Yeah.
gain weight, or you gotta be refitted.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, that
That,
being said, I'm sure that even if you're not 100% fitted, it's probably better than a surgical mask. But I mean, I'm speculating. I'm not a doctor. I don't know for sure. But anyways,
yeah.
it was just an interesting tidbit of information. So, um, yeah,
Well, yeah, that is interesting. I see a lot of people though wearing the blue mask, the just the regular surgical mask, and
hmm
they're just like completely open at the sides. So really, unless they're sealed to your face, they're not really going to work either
yeah,
because everything can go in the sides. I mean, so you got to be really careful. You got to adjust those too.
yeah. So I'm posting the link. If somebody wants to come on video and chat with us and give us your opinion about masks, and are you for them? Are you against them? We'd love to hear from you. You can also just type in a comment. We'll continue to try to post the comments from people.
Mhm.
And if you have questions, we'll try to answer them. Again, we're not professionals by any stretch of the imagination.
And
Um,
whatever your opinion is, there's no judging. Like it's this is
no.
complete judgment-free zone today. We just
Yes.
want to get people's opinions for or against it. It doesn't
Yes.
matter how you feel because if you're against it, then there's obviously a reason why you're against it. You need to let us know.
So here's a controversial little tidbit. So this
Mhm.
morning I saw an article that stipulated that I'd have to find it again so I can post the link, but doctors were saying that those who say that they don't want to wear a mask because of health issues
Mhm.
is actually not a valid excuse.
I read it last night. I
Did
know.
you?
Yeah, I did. I
And
saw
they
that last
and it was
night.
from doctors, right?
Mhm. It was.
I'll
It
have to
was.
find it again and try to post the link. But because we have a lot of people who say I can't wear a mask because I
I
have
have
this, I have that,
asthma.
I have the other.
Yeah.
So I'd be curious to see what people have to say. What do you have any health issues, and how do you feel when you wear a mask? So those could be in the comments, or come and talk to us, people. We don't bite.
No, we don't. I know. I know when I go for walks, I don't wear a mask. I mean, I do. If I go in a store, I always put one on. When I go for a walk, I don't. But funny story. I think we mentioned this one before. I was walking past somebody. I was with my daughter last week, and there was usually I cross the road, and there was somebody across the road, somebody coming towards us. I had no mask on, and she goes, "What do we do, Mom?" She goes, "Hold your breath as we go by." So yeah, I held my breath when fell flat on my face. So obviously I should
Oh.
have been wearing a mask because I definitely cannot hold my breath and walk at the same time. And the poor people were just going, they were so worried about me. But I must have pulled something or done something because I landed on my wrist and boy, it still hurts. So moral of that story is, yeah, I should have had a mask on. Don't hold your breath as you're trying to walk. It doesn't work for me anyway.
Well, I did a little experiment this Sunday. I don't know if you saw. Was it
Oh,
Sunday or
I did.
Saturday?
I saw it. I saw it. I think it was Saturday you were doing it.
Yeah. I'll get back to that because Jacqueline just saying mandatory masking indoor alleviates the small business owners from the lashback from visiting clients, and that's a very valid point.
Yep.
I was discussing that with my husband yesterday, um, because this is something that they have to contend with. Because what if somebody comes to your store and says, um, I don't have to wear a mask. It's not mandatory. You can't
Mm-hmm.
refuse me entry, and yes, they can, but at the same time, you don't want to argue with customers. But people like that have small stores like Life's Little Pleasures, for example.
Oh, yes.
um, they're very tight spaces.
Yep.
So, of course she wants people to wear masks, and of course she wants to limit the amount of people that are in there at one time. But, um, so what if people refuse to wear a mask? What do you do then?
Because I
Um,
know if the owner's got a mask on and somebody refuses to put one on, then what? Like you said. But I think it's the owner's right to refuse the person to come in, isn't it?
it
For
is,
their
but I mean, it's
safety.
just that you have to put a fight. So, this makes it uniform where,
Mm-hmm.
everybody's wearing one, everybody's wearing one. You don't have to argue or debate it. You just,
You
they
just
just
do
wear
it.
it.
Yeah.
So here we have a comment. So far, you're only saying everything for, but nothing against. So our position
That's
is
why
for,
we want,
so that's why
that's
we
why
have
we
you on here
get
to say what you have
right.
against. So feel free to jump on and come and let us know what you feel against, what
Mm-hmm.
you have against masking. Why is your position against? We'd love to hear it. Mark Kara says you hold your breath. Ha ha ha.
Well, I did that one day, and I usually cross the street, but yeah, I won't be holding my breath again.
Yeah.
That didn't work.
So my little experiment was that so I wore a basic just like the
The regular
two ply
surgical
regular
ones. Yeah.
surgical mask, and I went for a walk. And I went for a walk while wearing my little oximeter, my
Mm-hmm.
oxygen oximeter. And I walked for about 30 minutes, and then I came back and I did a little video showing my oxygen levels, and they were just fine. They were at like
Yep.
99, 98 the whole time. And actually, when I did take the mask off, they went down to 97. So
Really? So you were
yeah,
getting
I and
more
I
oxygen
didn't
with
even
it.
clue in while I was doing the video. After I watched it, I saw when I took the mask off,
Yeah.
I was like, at first it was at 98. I'm like, I'm still holding at 98, but then I kept talking and I saw that it was going down. And so, but you know what? 97, 98, 99, it's all normal.
Yeah, it is.
Jackie says, with all these for and against opinions, a very important question is how can we live together respectfully with our differing opinions?
Differing opinions.
Differing.
Yeah.
Excuse me, my French is speaking out. Um,
It's true though.
That is a very important
We have to
question.
respect each other's opinions.
Yeah, and it's kind of hard because people who are for are so very for it, you know,
Uh-huh.
and people who are against are so very against it.
Yeah,
So how do you find
the happy
uh
medium.
yeah, I don't think there is a happy medium, but how do you respect one another? Because then if masks are mandatory, those who are against it don't feel respected because now they're being forced to do it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So how do we um live with that?
that's a good point, and I
Yeah.
don't know what that answer is
I
either.
I don't know. People, do you have an answer to that? How do we respect one another and live with different opinions? It got really nasty. Like some of the posts are really, really nasty out there.
What a time though in our lives. I mean, did you ever think this would happen? I never saw this kind of thing. I mean, a few years ago you'd be wearing a mask to go rob a bank. Now you got to wear a mask all the time, you know? It's kind
Yeah,
of
and
weird.
that's funny
Don't,
because somebody had put a comment saying, so what did they look like, officers? They were wearing a mask, you know?
what color? And
Yeah,
you described the mask. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
I
Mark
think
has a
store
comment.
owners have every right to tell people to leave their store if the store has a mask only policy and someone refuses. If you can refuse a person's service for not wearing a shirt, the same goes with a mask. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
somebody had posted yesterday too with, there's notices, no shirt, no shoes, no service.
Wow.
So
No
you
shirt,
have
no
to
shoes, no
have
mask, no
no
service.
shirt. No, yeah, just you have
But
to
I
have
mean,
the
and I agree with you, Mark, 100%. However, um, it still doesn't take away the fact that those owners have to take on the fight. Like if somebody
Mhm.
argues with them, they have to take on the fight. They have to explain it and, or yeah. So making them mandatory would help small business owner. Do we have small
Yeah.
business owners here who would like to comment on that? What do you think about the whole policy of masks? Is it a burden to you? Is it helping your business? What do you think? All right, we have another comment. It's just about being kind. Understand that there are people who can't wear masks, like my sister who has had a lung transplant and is still struggling with rejection issues. Yeah. And those of us who can wear a mask need to be kind to protect those who can't. Yes.
It's true.
Yes. We have another comment. We managed to flatten the curve in Canada very successfully without mandatory masks. Kind of feel like we're going backwards, like asking your husband to wear a condom when you're six
Mhm.
months pregnant. This is a decision that should have been left to the business owners. Yeah, I had an issue with uh, the fact that they did not make masks mandatory from the get go. Like, but I think the government is kind of. I think they're really afraid to make any decision because they're afraid the people is gonna just go and freak out. So they're doing everything in droplets, like very,
Mhm.
very, slowly.
Well, they didn't want to start a mass panic at first either,
Hmm.
as we were learning about this. But
Yeah, Angela says, and at the end of the day, wear a mask for the few minutes that you're in the store, the shop, the salon. You don't have to wear it all day. And that's a
that
very
is true.
good point because, the outrage is like, okay, it almost feels like people are saying, that's it. They're going to wear a mask. It's going to be on their face for the rest of their lives. And, there's no, this is for a little bit of time at a time. It's
This
not for.
might be like 20 minutes at a time when you go in and out of a store, because of course you're not supposed to linger in the stores either. You just go in and out. And I know even if you go to have your hair done, it's not going to be hours and hours. Like, it's just
Well,
going to
maybe
be,
for your hair, but my hair takes a hell of a long time to fix.
yeah, well, mine doesn't take that long. Usually a quick trim and I do my own color. But yes, you have this fancy color thing going on.
Not
But
anymore. I did mine like I did mine. My
yeah,
hairdresser's gonna kill me, but I did mine.
well, she'll just have to fix it up. But again, I mean, how long? Couple of hours when you do have,
Yeah, it's about three
is
hours
it?
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little long.
Wow.
Louise says, I don't think it's a matter of respect. It's sort of not a matter of opinion. I'm not expressing this well, but if the medical establishments insist that masks help curb the spread, then it's up to the government to mandate them for everybody's protection.
Mhm.
If there are legitimate conditions that prevent the use of masks, okay, carry a note from your doctor.
Mm-hmm.
So, which brings me to one point, Louise. Ontario is not making masks mandatory. The province has refused to make masks mandatory. Um,
I
a
think
lot
it's
of
just
the,
it's just going from health unit to health unit, right? They
but
make
the
the decision.
health units have asked Ontario to make it mandatory. They got together and tried to ask the government to make it mandatory across the province for consistency and uniformity, and the
Exactly.
province is not doing it. So, if the chief medical officer of Ontario feels that it's not necessary, shouldn't we be listening to them?
Good point. Because if it was necessary, everybody should be doing it.
Well, you would think, right?
Yeah,
So,
you would.
originally, it was thought that masks weren't necessary. They didn't know COVID could be passed from non symptomatic people,
Mhm.
and there weren't enough masks available at the time. Now that we're close to entering phase three, masks are a good idea. Good point.
And
And
of
that's
course,
that,
they're more easily available now too. At first they weren't.
absolutely. Like they did a good job at retooling a lot of the industries, like a lot of the companies that were doing other things have shifted to making masks
And a lot of
um,
people started making the cloth masks too. So,
yeah, so they're readily available. There's like yeah, there's a lot of people locally that make masks. Actually, we are going to be compiling a list of mask makers, so if anybody needs a mask, we'll be you can go on our website at theseeker.ca, and
yeah,
there'll be a list there for you to choose from. We like
for
to,
adult son children. So, I mean, there's two different sizes.
yes. Actually, there's like more than two. There's like adult, small and medium and large, and there's kids, small, medium, and large as well. Um,
Okay.
yeah, uh, it's not one size fits all.
No, definitely.
Yeah, but what was I going to say now? I can't remember.
Senior moment.
Senior moment. So it's my COVID brain.
Yeah,
I
there
have
you go.
COVID brain. All right. I've also heard people say that they can't wear masks because it makes me kind of claustrophobic or I feel uncomfortable. These are not valid reasons. I think people will need letters from a doctor to be excused from wearing one. So I don't know if you were on, John, when we were talking about this, but there was an article today that came out, or yesterday that came out,
Mhm.
from doctors who were actually stating that people who claim to have valid reason not to wear a mask are actually that there's no really valid reason, right? Is that what that's what it was saying, right?
That's what it was. Yeah.
Doctors were saying that basically, like, even if you, like, if you're not able to wear a mask, basically, you should be staying home. Period.
I was just gonna say that stay at home and get your groceries done by GoFeedMe or
Yeah,
relatives or friends and just stay away from people. Don't go out at all.
yeah, yeah. So, but I don't know. Like, I'll have to find the link and post it and see the both sides of that issue. See if that's even like I'm sure because it was a big newspaper that had done it, right?
Yeah, it was. Like I say, I read it last night. I read it on Facebook.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I have claustrophobia too, and I have no problem wearing the mask. I mean, I don't know if I could wear it for an entire day,
Mhm.
but for the time that I go in and out of the stores, there's not a problem. And yeah, with some masks, you just have to not breathe as deep either. You have to have, shallower breaths too, I find, because you do have to breathe a different way with a mask on.
Yeah. But
It's
I mean,
doable.
it's even though doctors were saying this in that article, that particular article, when you're somebody who has an issue with something, like a lot of victims of violence or rape
Mm-hmm.
or stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
um, they're having an issue having something over their mouths, and it's very real. It's very valid. Like it's extremely traumatic. It takes them right back to that day. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
I wrote about this before. I've had that happen to me,
Yeah.
and I
Mm-hmm.
know that some stuff, not wearing a mask, that's not one of them, but some stuff might trigger the memories to pop back in my head. And like for example, anytime I see something that's olive green, like forget it. Like it just brings that day right back to me because
Oh my
it
goodness.
was olive green. There was
Yeah.
in that memory there's olive green, and I just can't
Yeah.
stand olive green anymore. Um, Not that it's a nice color anyway, but
Wait a minute. When we all, oh yeah, we were like more of a lime green and a cyan
I
blue
was
when we
not
first
olive green.
started.
No,
Okay, that wasn't
I'm
olive
talking
green. I was
about
gonna say.
1970s washing machine olive green, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
can picture that one. Yeah, our colors were definitely not that. Because I think you were the one that wore the green, so I guess you were okay with our lime green
Lime
at
green
the
is fine. I have no problem with lime green.
time.
But yeah,
It's true
no,
though.
it's very real for them.
Yeah,
So
it's true.
we
It's not something I would have thought about, but it is true. It
yeah,
would bring you back to something that you don't want to think about.
yeah, yeah. So I think we need to also, be considerate and
Hmm.
understanding and compassionate. Like there are some people that just m- mentally can't do it. It's just not,
Yeah.
you can't,
It's
you
yeah,
know.
it's not a medical thing. It's just
No, it's just it's a yeah, because once you've had an experience like that, you work so hard
to
to
overcome
go
it
past it,
and move
yeah,
forward.
to move forward and overcome it and move past it. So um yeah, you don't want anything that triggers you.
Yeah, no, this is a good discussion because it's bringing up things like that people may not even think about.
I've seen people wearing plastic face shield here in town because masks make them feel claustrophobic. So, yes, I've seen that as well. However, I don't know what the health unit is going to say about that. I've seen both sides of the spectrum. Um, there's some health workers that were saying that it's just not going to be replacing masks. That the health unit is not going to allow that in replacement of a mask. Like the
Hmm.
face shield is in addition. Like if you're in a healthcare settings, it's a face shield is in addition to a mask. Usually, it's to protect your eyes. It's to protect your face because the virus enters in various ways, right? So the eyes is one. Like if somebody sneezes right in your eyes are
Hmm.
open, you might get the virus anyway because your eyes are an entry point.
Yeah,
So I'm not sure if the health unit is going to accept that in lieu of
in the public,
yeah.
in the public setting. I know when my dad was in the hospital, my dad is hard of hearing. So, of course, when the people had the masks on, when the nurse had the mask on, he could not understand what she was saying. So she did take the mask off and put a face shield on instead, so he could see her lips. But again, that was not for a long time either. So I think in certain things they can do that, but that's not a permanent solution.
Yeah. So um there's also the whole CO2 um thing about wearing a mask, right? So people are saying you're breathing in,
Inhaling carbon dioxide, right?
right? And you can find, see, that's what I'm going back to what we were talking before, because for everything that I can post that is telling you that this is not an issue, you're going to find another 10 links that
Yeah,
says
that contradict
contrary.
that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And so it's really hard. Like, I understand that people are confused and people are, because it's really hard to find valid information out there, like, because they all look like they're valid. There's studies, like, I know that personally, when I research the facts, I research on are you okay?
Yeah, yeah.
I
Someone
research.
was kind of pointing some fingers at me. So I guess somebody had called and he was asking me a question. Sorry about that. Did I look like I was spaced out or something? I guess so.
Oh, I'm gonna no, it's okay. So yeah, so I when I do my research, I research, like, I try to look at, like, the medical studies, and
Yes.
I go to the university websites and, look at their reports there. And
Hmm.
but again, like, there's studies done on both sides of the spectrum that say yes, you can inhale CO2, or no, you can't inhale CO2. So it's kind of hard to. And then the CO2 is like, it's if it's at small periods of time at a time, it ain't so problematic. But then it's the long term effects, right? Because they say that then that can cause cancer, and that can cause different illnesses, from
Well, that's
wearing
why
it.
I'm
But then,
saying, again, I'm not a doctor either, but if you're taking shorter, smaller breaths too, I think it's not as dangerous either, you know. There's less chance of inhaling CO2 if you're breathing shallower for the time that you've got the mask on, which usually shouldn't be that long. I mean, there's nurses, like, I just can't imagine how they're working whole shifts, but then they've always done that. They've always had masks on, so if anything,
yeah, but then again, you ask anybody who's wearing a mask for 8 hours a day at work, and a lot of those people are not for wearing masks outside of work. They don't want to do it. Like, they've
they
worn
would not
one
say,
the whole day, and
yeah.
they're being safe. They're going out. They're cleaning their hands. They're washing their
Yeah.
hands. They're staying away from people. They don't want to be forced to wear a mask again, after they get out of 8 hour shifts.
Exactly. I can see why.
Hmm.
Yep. Doctors and dentists and nurses wear masks all day. Yes, it's true, Louise. That's just what we were saying.
Yep, they sure do.
And I mean, that's been going on for years, even before this.
Yeah.
But even though you're wearing a mask, you should still try and do your social distancing, still clean your hands, still take all the other precautions as well. I mean, it's best to do that and keep your hands away from your face. I think that's a lot of the reason why people are asked to wear masks too, so it stops them from touching their face. But I don't
But
know about
there's
you.
studies that say that you touch your face more when you have a mask.
Well, I
See,
was
that's
just going to
where.
say, I was going to ask that question. When you have a mask on, don't you feel like your face is itchy and you need to scratch?
Oh, my face is
Like
always itchy.
always.
Like, oh my God, when I was in the ER the other day, like, I like, right under my nose right there, and it's like under the thing, and I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, I
and
want to
you can't
scratch
get
that.
to it.
I can't get to it because I don't want to touch it. Like, I don't think, because we sometimes we do it subconsciously. We don't really notice that we're doing, but I really don't think I'm touching my face when I have a mask on. I think it prevents me from touching it
Well, it does.
personally.
You want to, but you don't
Yeah,
because you can't.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that's another reason to wear
But
a mask, I think.
you look at crowds, and you see it all the time. Like, you know, somebody will somebody will take a mask here. Let me just demonstrate. So they'll put it like this. Whoa. Let me just demonstrate. And then
Oh,
Oh, it's coming off. Can't even get it to sit
Well, you got
properly.
too many things on your head, all
So,
your
yeah,
headphones
I
and
know.
stuff.
But okay, so they wear it like this.
Well, that's what I mean. And there's all space all the way around it, so that's really defeating the
So,
purpose.
so
And
I'm
under the nose, and
having
oh, the
that
chin strap.
chin strap.
What about the chin strap? Yeah.
Like if you're gonna wear it like this, just don't even bother. It's like not the proper way. So Tammy says, I definitely touch my face way more while wearing the mask, or I'm constantly readjusting throughout the shift. Yeah. So you would know more, Tammy, because okay. So let me just get this off. Okay. So you would know more because you wear it long periods of time, right?
Yeah.
I wear it for like 30 minutes at a time most times, and I don't touch it. Well, again,
I know
subconsciously
it too.
maybe, but I don't think I do. Yep. Melissa says, I am not against the mask. I am against mandatory masks. I have PTSD due. We were just talking about
Yeah,
that. Mask gives me
exactly.
panic, coughing, sweating, so I looks like I have COVID. And no, now you say face shield might not be acceptable. So what? But for people with PTSD, um,
Good
again,
point.
don't worry about it just yet, Melissa. I'm not sure if the health unit will or will not approve face shields. I don't know. I'm just saying by what I've seen this weekend, um, navigating that it might not be an acceptable um,
Solution?
alternative. But again, like I don't know for sure. So don't quote me on that. We'll know when the press release comes out. Probably later today. I think
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
Usually or this afternoon it'll come out.
I think so. I think they're gonna do it today. Yeah. Well, it's 11 o'clock.
Wow. It is.
Flies when you're having fun.
It does. And like I say, Julie and I, we do wear masks, but we wanted to kind of have this discussion for people who are for wearing them and against wearing them, because everybody has their own opinion, and like I say, you have to be kind to everybody and respect their opinions. So that's why we wanted to have this discussion today.
Mhm. So, and I know that I'm very vocal about my opinion on my personal page. So, there's one thing I want to mention is that um, please, my opinions are not necessarily the opinions of the seeker. I am my own person. The seeker is its own identity, and it doesn't endorse any of the opinions of any of our writers. So uh, please don't mix the two. It's two separate things. And I'm very vocal, and I speak for what I believe in, and I really believe in that masks can stop the spread. So I talk about it, and
And
that's
you do
always like
talk about it, and you talk about it in your editorial, which is called Agree to Disagree. So that's
right,
explains it right there.
right, right. And also, we wanted to say that we've seen that some people were concerned about the fact that they're going to have to buy masks. Um,
Hmm.
so I want to say that the Seeker is going to be sponsoring some masks out there. So if you are one of the people who have difficulties making ends meet, and you don't have the money to buy a mask right now, just get in touch with us. You can send us a message through Facebook. You can just send us an email at info at theseeker.ca.
Hmm.
We'll gladly help you out. It's anonymous. Don't worry about it. We're not gonna divulge any of the information, um,
No,
but we're happy to help.
for sure. Can they, is there a phone number that they can call us at, Julia?
I suppose they could
Or
call the seeker phone number at six one
no,
three 935 3763
3763.
extension 1.
That would be the way to get a hold of us. And definitely don't be shy. We're here to help you.
Yep. Jackie says there are organizations out there who would make masks available to those in need as well. So that's
And that's what we'll put on our list as well. We'll try and find as many places as we can. And anybody who makes masks, please let us know so we can put you on the list.
yes, yes. We want to support local. You know, we want to keep the money here. We want to keep the money in Cornwall as much as possible. So actually, we're going to be starting an initiative. I keep my hashtag. I keep my money local,
Yeah,
and so yes, please support your local businesses, your local mask makers. Even if it's $5 a mask instead of like $3 a mask, like it's worth the $2 to keep it
it
in our
is.
community.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
to help our small businesses at this point.
Don't forget on Wednesday, what's Wednesday?
Wednesday is Wellness Wednesday. Your 2 o'clock in the afternoon check-in to see how you're doing. So
So
we always check in on hump day. We try to check in with people to see how they're doing. And then on Fridays at 7 o'clock, it's, oh my God, I
follow up,
got to
follow up Friday.
follow up Friday. I had a senior moment there myself. Geez,
COVID
follow up
moment.
Friday.
We're not
A
seniors.
COVID moment.
It's a COVID moment.
Yeah, COVID moment. I like that better.
Yes.
And it's true. I think we're all starting to get the COVID moments. I know I'm having a bit of a hard time.
COVID brain.
Yeah. So check in with us on Wednesday and then grab yourself a glass of wine or a Reuben's beer because that is my favorite go-to drink. And join us on Fridays at 7 o'clock.
All right. So we bid you a great
Adieu.
week.
No, and have yourself a super, super duper day.
Absolutely. We'll see you next week, people. Thanks for participating today. Great comments.
Wonderful. Bye.